Hi, this is John J. Wiley, one of the hosts of the Law Enforcement Today radio show, and I'm also a retired Baltimore police sergeant. Yep, from the Baltimore Police Department in beautiful Baltimore, Maryland. I'm doing a quick video editorial today from my offices, from my day job at the radio station where I work, because I came across an article in the Baltimore Sun, an article written by Kevin Rector, journalist for the Baltimore Sun. Headline states, Baltimore City Council deeply divided over mandatory sentence for gun possession. They're proposing a minimum mandatory 1-year sentence for people convicted of carrying a handgun illegally in Baltimore. And the City Council is divided over it. Baltimore City Council President Bernard C. Jack Young urged his colleagues to support the measure during a working lunch. He says, the criminals are running the city. We're not running it. They are. And if we want to do a first step, it's this bill right here. Now, I agree with Bernard Young. However, I have to say this. You've been in office since 2010. This has happened on your watch. This is not new. This is something that's been going on for a very long time. Why haven't you done something about this already? Now, the rest of the City Council, deeply divided, about 50-50 split. Opponents say they feel minimum mandatory sentences won't drive down crime. There's no evidence of that. And they're right. There is no evidence that minimum mandatory sentences drive down crime. However, there's a lot of evidence that not putting criminals in jail, especially in Baltimore and other American cities, leads to a sharp increase in crime, especially violent crime. When you don't lock them up, when you have this revolving door where they get arrested, then they're back out, and nothing ever happens to them, or very little, crime goes up. There's lots of evidence to contradict that point. Then they say tying judges' hands could lead to unfair outcomes. Hate to break it to you, Baltimore City Council. In America, even in Baltimore, you have a right to a trial. When you're arrested for something like handgun violation, you have a right to a trial by judge and or jury. And if the facts don't support the statute, you're found not guilty. Only when the facts support the statute and you're convicted do you get the sentence. So how does it tie their hands? Oh, it ties their hands in a way that if someone has been arrested for the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth time for handgun violation, oh, you don't want the judge to say you go away for a year. Councilman Christopher Burnett said this is not something that's innovative. First of all, I have no idea who Councilman Christopher Burnett is. But he's right. It's not innovative. It's not new. But it's doing something. Which, by the way, Christopher Burnett proposes nothing. Nothing. He just comes up with a negative criticism. There's nothing new. I got nothing. I'm not going to show any leadership, but I got nothing to say but negative. Further on, other city council members got involved. Now, Brandon Scott, who chairs the council's public safety committee, went to the old standby. He's an opponent of the bill, by the way. He said, it's a police fault. He said officers are arresting fewer people suspected of gun crimes and not targeting the people most likely to commit violent acts. All right, Brandon Scott, you're onto something there. First of all, in Baltimore, there's definitely a climate where witnesses don't talk to the police. It makes it very difficult to arrest and prosecute someone. To arrest someone, you need something called probable cause. That's been clearly defined by the Supreme Court. They just can't go lock people up under suspicion, can they? No. So without the community's help, not a whole lot they can do. Secondly, how many police would it take in Baltimore and other major cities to continually arrest these repeat offenders who go through this revolving door of the judicial system? They're arrested on a handgun violation and they're back out 8 hours later and they never do time. Or if they do time, it's only a couple months and they're back on the streets doing the same thing again. How many police would it take to arrest all those people? How often to make a difference? Again, Brandon Scott, he's got no solutions, no leadership, just negatives. In addition, Scott and Burnett, council members Shannon Sneed and Ryan Dorsey have said they oppose the measure. Don't know why, and apparently Kevin Rector, Baltimore Sun, didn't feel it was important to ask them. Council members John Bullock, Mary Pat Clark, Bill Henry, and Zeke Cohen said they need to consider it further before they decide. Well, while they're considering, let's take a look at some numbers. These are numbers from the Baltimore Sun of murders in Baltimore from 1990 to 2016. A total of 7,549 people murdered during the time period 1990 to 2016. That's an average of 279.5 per year. Since 1980, when I went on the job in the Baltimore Police Department, through 2016, that's 36 years. An estimate of 10,062 people have been murdered in Baltimore. Yes, I was on the scene of many of those murders between 1980 and 1992. I investigated many of the murders as a patrolman and patrol sergeant, and made arrests, and had them released from the judicial system after no time at all. And I can't tell you how many hundreds of handguns myself and my brothers and sisters took off the streets with arrests, only to have them released back on the street hours later, never to do time. So while Baltimore City Council members posture, pose for political points, grandstanding, realize this. Since 1980, an estimate of 10,062 people have been murdered in your city while you do nothing but talk. Shame on you. And shame on Kevin Rector from the Baltimore Sun. I've seen plenty of posts by Kevin Rector about his opinions about the problems of the Baltimore Police Department, and yet he's got nothing on this. The problems in Baltimore and many, many major cities in the United States of America right now, the violent crime, is made evident by this lack of action by the Baltimore City Council. Shame on you.